I think it's fair to say that we're expecting any maiden resource to be significant. And of course, the current programme is only covering the MB01 South target, but we have another sizable anomaly immediately to the north of that, which we'll be looking to drill in the future as well.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. Joining me is Oriole Resources Executive Director, Claire Bay. Claire, very good to speak with you. You recently announced some further results from the maiden drilling program at the Mbe Gold Project in Cameroon. Could you provide the viewers with an overview, please?
Yes, morning, Stephen. The drilling program's been ongoing at Mbe since late November, and this morning we've announced results for holes 3 and 4 from that program. Of the 2 holes, hole 3 has delivered the widest and highest grade zones of mineralization, including 4.24 meters at 7.7 grams per ton and 8 meters at 1.03 grams per ton. What's particularly exciting, though, is the high number of mineralized intervals that we've encountered, over 30 in these 2 holes and over 60 in the program to date. And effectively, that's really underpinning the significant geochemical footprint that we've already identified at surface, which you might recall was around 800 meters by 800 meters. These intersections were calculated using a 0.2 gram per ton cutoff for gold, but on an unrestricted basis, we have much wider envelopes of gold mineralization. For example, the first 150 meters in hole 3 have delivered an average gold grade of 0.48 grams per ton. We've therefore already demonstrated mineable widths of mineralization, which is really satisfying given that we're only 4 holes into this maiden program at a project where there had not been any previous exploration.
With the drilling program now more than 30% completed, Claire, how do these latest results fit contextually within the wider drilling program? Are they in line with previous expectations?
Results are broadly comparable with the results that we'd reported for holes 1 and 2, in that we have narrower high-grade zones of mineralization within those wider envelopes of lower-grade material. However, these holes were drilled on a fence line 200 meters to the north of the previous 2 holes. And whilst the structural controls are similar, here it seems that we have a more dominant north-northwest trend, and those structures are steeper than we'd seen in the southern line. As a result, we'd expected the hole 3 to actually drill down dip of those structures, but in effect, we drill them from perpendicular, which is ideal because it's giving us a more realistic estimation of those true widths of those zones. Right. And in fact, looking at back at the soil anomaly, it's not too surprising, as it clearly shows a swing in the orientation from north-northeast in the south to the north-northwest. But these holes, like the first 2, were scissored pairs, and that means that they were drilled in opposite directions. Holes 1 and 3 were drilled towards the east, and holes 2 and 4 towards the west. And that's really to help us get a handle on that structural complexity. So whilst the north-northwest structures are narrower, they have delivered a higher percentage of high-grade intersections. And in fact, it's these structures that are responsible for some of the high grades that we've already reported through our rock chip sampling programs at surface, up to 250 grams per ton. And importantly, where these north-northwest structures intersect the north-northeast trend, that's where we're getting zones of brecciation developing and more widespread gold deposition, which is giving us our lower grade halos.
Following these results, what can we expect in the coming months from the Mbe project?
Well, as you flagged earlier, we're a third of the way through the program, which is approximately 2,200 meters of the planned 6,590 meters. We're coming up to completing the 7th hole. We will be completing it in the next few days. And so we anticipate a steady stream of results as we go through the next quarter. As reported last week, we have experienced some delays with the customs in Ghana, which is somewhat outside of our control, but we are working hard to minimize the impact of those delays. Looking further ahead, we'll also be looking to complete a mineral resource estimate later this year once all the results are in. Given that we've now demonstrated substantial widths of mineralization confirmed over a minimum strike length of 200 meters, gold mineralization from surface, and a deepest intersection of 290 meters to date from surface, I think it's fair to say that we're expecting any maiden resource to be significant. And of course, the current programme is only covering the MB01 South target, but we have another sizable anomaly immediately to the north of that, which we'll be looking to drill in the future as well.
Claire, I hope you'll keep us updated on any progress. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thanks, Stephen.
That's Oriole Resources Executive Director, Claire Bay.